Let's go. We go.
Let's go.
All right. So, hello everyone. Thanks for choosing us as your first talk today for DevFest Montreal. Yeah, it's me again. Sorry. But we're super thrilled to talk about AI and security with you today. So we're going to start with a little introduction. Good timing. Well, you saw my face downstairs before, but anyway, so Stacy Ve, I'm the Director of Sales Engineering and Professional Services at SC Cloud Experts. We're a Google Premier Partner. We're based in Montreal, so we're on the plateau, so you couldn't be more Montreal than being on the plateau. Co-org of GDG Cloud Montreal, pre-pandemic, I've mentioned in the cloud since 2007, and also with me today. Well, before that, also, I really love to talk about AI, security, infrastructure, all those things. So that's a great topic. But with me today, I have my friend Yan, who will intro himself.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Yan Bellerose. I'm a custom engineer at Google Cloud. I'm a security specialist. So the entire day, I'm just talking about security in the cloud. And since a couple of years now, I need to talk about AI. So I'm mixing and I'm bridging those two topics. I'm really passionate about everything related technology. So I'm this kind of person who can code in my basement, and after I'm going and I'm having a talk with a CEO, CIO of an organization to talk about strategy. So I really like making the link between technology and business needs. So creating that link, I will prefer to be only good in technology, but I have that skills too. So I need to spend time looking at spreadsheet numbers and talking strategy, but I prefer code. So it's nice to be with you today. And just before we move, just to be sure, because I'm from Google, what I'm going to present today, it's really my opinion. It's not going to reflect the vision of Google. It's really my experience and what I think about that topic.
All right, and just by the way, I'm just gonna fist bump on this one. It's the first time we're actually we've been working together for years, but it's the first time we're actually talking together on stage. So it's just checkbox, bucket list, boom, Yan, all right, done.
Yeah,
so
normal time, I'm in the crowd or you are in the crowd.
Yeah, I sit there, he speaks, but yeah, no, that's good. So what we're gonna cover today, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. We're gonna do an AI 101. But not not what is AI, but I just want to level set the conversation and frame it in terms of our talk for today, so for security. So we'll talk about AI as a security threat. We'll talk about security in AI, AI in security. We're going to also talk about what's up in Google Cloud with security. And if everybody behaves, especially JL, if you behave, you'll have a demo. I'm not pointing you out, but I am. And then we'll wrap it up, time permitting, we'll wrap it up. We'll open the floor to questions. And if not, like I mentioned, if we don't have time, reach out during break or lunch. More than happy to do that after. Works for everybody? Have a plan? All right, awesome. That's the only one we have anyway. So we'll do a little AI 101 here. What do we say when we say AI is a double-edged sword? Where we're coming from and where we're going when it comes to AI. So for most people, when I say AI, if I go down the street and I go and ask questions people hey, what does AI mean for you? The answer is going to be ChatGPT, probably. Be honest.
Not supposed to say that.
Yeah, I know you're supposed to say Gemini, but I but I mean, yeah. So, but that's the thing, and if we look at this, AI as a technology for the general public, Gen AI is super young. The 2 years anniversary of GPT is gonna be November 20th. It's in 11 days, so we're not even at the 2-year mark. And if I pull that tool from you, everybody's gonna freak out. So I'm going to be the first. But Gen AI or AI for the public, as in general, requires context. Without context, it's dumb. It can be super imaginative. You can, if we just go back even a year, asking the famous question tell me about the first elephant on the moon, and you'll get an answer. Because the default setting were a bit too open, a bit. I don't want to say top K and all the parameters you can do when you play with AI, but it's going to give you something that's grounded on nothing, just an hallucination. Also, how many R's in strawberry was also a big challenge. So that was the thing. It's we have a new model that can actually tell you that there's the proper number of R's in strawberries. Awesome. But all of this, like Gen AI is a tool. And without gates, I've mentioned the hallucination, but without gates, it's something that can be basically a huge security risk. And I'm really talking about like the Gen AI side of things here, meaning that, let's say you're working for company X, you want to do a nice report about like the last sales quarter, you take all the data, you go to the public site of whatever Gen AI tool, you paste it there, you get a nice report, it's awesome, you present it, you're proud of yourself, but you just fed all your corporate data to a public model. That's a problem, right? Maybe you want to have the subscription that's for your business and like gate everything. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole because it can be a full talk on its own, but we have to keep that in mind. And AI can be a great tool, but it remains a tool. People need to be educated on how to use it. It's easy to use. You pop up your phone, you go, you ask question, you get an answer, awesome. I can talk to it, it's awesome. But in a context of work, or even like your own personal work, you need to think about like, what am I feeding this model? Is it going to go and answer someone else's question? So it's super important. So AI has been there for a long time. For most of people in the AI realm, it's more predictive AI than generative AI. Something that based on factual data can predict, I don't know, like a weather pattern. So, oh yeah, well we have a storm coming. Maybe not today. We have a great day. It's awesome. But the thing that it cannot do, like right now, is that based on the data that I have and the data that I'm fed, that's all factual and grounded, I cannot come up with, let's say, an F9 tornado model out of thin air. Somebody needs to frame me properly. So predictive AI and Gen AI are two really different use cases. But Gen AI can make you 15 pictures of cats playing ping pong in space in 25 seconds. So that might be your use case. But I mean, it's not the same use case. But I just want to rewind just a little bit, and we'll need to sync our click.
Okay, we need to.
Say, but we're just going to rewind on when we say GPT. GPT stands for something, right? Generative pre-trained transformers. But who came up with the transformers first? It's not the Autobot. It's actually a paper from, click again, please.
Again.
And again, it's actually our friends from Google that came up with this white paper on the transformer piece way back when. So the way back when for most people is like not even 2 years ago, but this is what everything that's happening has been based on. So I just want to, I have a lot of notes, I don't know why. But so just wanted to set the table. So like this is where we're coming from. We're going through AI, we're going through security. And there's a dark side to our double-edged sword. So we're going to fast forward to the dark side, and I'll let Yan pick it up from there.
That's fun that you gave me the dark side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have the dark side.
Yeah, but don't be evil.
Don't be evil.
That's the motto. And you're giving me the dark side. Great. Let's move that one for me, just in case. Great. So we're going to talk about the dark side portion. So we're not going to only talk about how to generate cat pictures and things like that with AI, but the bad things that can happen. But when you looked at it, technology, since the beginning of the time, for every change, people are scared of things. Just to give you an example, that one is I love that. It's a personal story. My grandfather, he was smoking cigarettes. And at the time, they started to use, a lot of people started to use lighters instead of matches. And he didn't want to light up his cigarette with a lighter because he was saying to everyone, it's not good for my health. The flame is not natural, it's dangerous. And other people who were using it were just laughing at him. So he was not aware of that information. And the same thing happened when the cars appeared. People were looking at that and said, that's huge, that's making a lot of noise. And it was in the street with the horses at the time. And people started to say, okay, it's a little bit strange here. And they started to think about job transformation. They say, oh my God, we're going to lose the blacksmith. We're going to lose the horse carriage driver. We're going to lose people who are taking care of the horses. So something sounds familiar in job transformation? but it was just a car. So we're hearing exactly the same thing today with AI. People are scared of AI because they don't know everything about AI. Like I told you, it's my point of view of those things, but I'm at Google. I'm seeing a lot of customers working with AI these days. It's not tomorrow that the robot will overtake the world. We're not there yet. There's a lot of use cases that I'm seeing that we're clearly not at that level yet. In 10 years, who knows? Because that's a technology that evolved very, very quickly. It's very, very different than what we're seeing a couple years ago. But one element in the AI that we're seeing, it's mainly, and I think we're going to have looking for the example, but anyway, I'm going to jump on that one just because I wanted to make the link with the movie Jaws. Okay, yeah, Jaws. Yeah, the movie with the shark. A lot of people were scared about sharks these days. Why? Because Hollywood make movies about that, so people are scared of sharks. People make movies about Terminators and a lot of dystopian stories. So people are looking at that, and if you ask my parents about AI, oh, you're sure it's very, very dangerous. Things are moving. Are they right? Who knows? But there's a couple of things that we can probably take a look at, and even today, there's a couple of elements that we need to start looking at because we need to be careful about those elements. So you have any examples?
Well, basically is that it's one of the examples that just to be safe, like every time I ask through a prompt, I'm going to say please and thank you, just in case. If they take over, they're going to say, Stacy made jokes and he said please and thank you, spare him. So he's going to wash the floors. So, all right, so just for the future, might be useful. Or not.
My wife and the kids are doing the same. They're always saying please, just in case. They say they will not pick me. Yeah, so when we're looking at different threats on the market that we're seeing, for example, the first one, different attack on AI system. The first one is really interesting, the adversarial one. Maybe you've seen, but it's possible just to wear invisibility cloak in front of AI. So when you have visibility, you have a vision on top of AI, there's some patterns that when you wear these patterns, AI is not able to see you properly, or the AI is not able to behave the way it's supposed. There was a pattern on clothes that you can have, but there's also patterns that you can put, for example, on stop signs or on lights. So just imagine catastrophic scenario. It's my job to go in catastrophic scenarios. So you want to do something bad in Montreal and you want to create chaos. The night before, you have an army of people who just put this pattern on stop signs. You create chaos in the city and the cars are just not able to stop at those signs. You're creating even more chaos by just adding some stickers on that. It's really an easy attack. You
could put orange cones also. Right?
They tried that. They already tried that. They tried that one. So that portion, the AI-powered cyber attack, this is something really interesting and things that we're starting for real to see on the market. I said the market, probably the black market, but it's really a polymorphic malware, where the malware is evolving based on the detections happening to him. But it's not a new version that a group are going to release. The malware is really evolving by himself, moving, trying to do some evasion on different detection. This one, he said, yeah, okay, we can play mouse and cat, play on that one. But imagine, and this one is also documented in different research, we're seeing ransomware. We're now targeting the most valuable files in your computer. So instead of encrypting everything, they're targeting the picture you don't want to be encrypted. Exactly. It's way faster, less resources. They can encrypt almost the most valuable things very quickly, more efficient. So those things are, a bit different. The deep fake and the misinformation. Maybe you've seen on TikTok the fake Tom Cruise doing a lot of things. That's a funny example of what you can do with deep fakes and AI. It's really, really, really great. Or recently I've seen the one from $1 million with the Putin who has Google $2.5 billion, but they just changed the face. Instead of Dr. Evil, it was Putin saying, yeah, we want $2.5 million very quickly. It was very, very funny, but still not necessarily true. Where it starts to be a little bit more scary, it's on the misinformation. Maybe you've seen also Volodymyr Zelensky surrendering to Russian people. Said, yeah, no, maybe not. And it was really a deep fake. When you look closely at it, you can see it's not well done. But this is the kind of information that we need to be careful. And that's crazy because I think my generation is the last one who was able to look at a picture or something and say, yeah, that's true. Because right after, Photoshop appeared, pictures were not real. Now, even the videos, everything we're seeing, we cannot be sure that it's really the case. So it's that portion for misinformation, it's a bit scary. On the privacy and surveillance issue, for example, the privacy, for example, it was not directly AI related, but Cambridge Analytica, a couple years back, the analysis of information on Facebook profile to target for US election. Imagine these days now with AI on top of that to really create way faster than we were able to do, can be dangerous. And all the surveillance issue that we heard, when I was doing some research for that, I found a use case in China where a lot of people talk about a credit score system based on face evaluation and everything. But if you only ask Gemini or any other GPT, they will talk about that story. When you go a little bit deeper, it's not proven. It's not really something that we're having these days, but that's really the kind of idea that may happen, having really a tracking score system on people. So that one is a little bit more scary. And the last one, this one is, yeah, the ethical consideration come after this talk. There's another talk with GL about AI and related close to that topic. But this portion for ethical consideration I like, it's really everything related to laws. And not the law, but laws, the lethal weapon, the autonomous weapon system that can be developed with that. So a machine who can detect if you're the target or not and decided by himself to take action on you. That one is scary. There's very nice documentary on Netflix on that topic. How's our time? We're short,
so
right?
We're a little bit short. We're a little fast.
So those things are the bad things that can happen, but we can also move the other way around. So we can decide to use AI to protect AI from AI attack. Right? Yeah. Okay.
That's okay. That's a bit confusing, but I'm pretty sure there's a bit more. There's a bit more we can. So like you're protecting the protectors. So it's like AI to protect AI from AI.
Correct. It's like in the Simpson episode when Lisa asked, "Who's going to police the police?"
It's Coast Guard.
Yeah.
Okay,
Exactly.
perfect.
Exactly.
So, it's not that I know the answer by heart, but anyway. But security in AI. So if you want to protect the protectors, there's many things because there's many types of attacks that AI itself can do against even an AI stack. So we have data poisoning. Basically, this is like poisoning the well. If my data source is corrupted, I may actually have now a model that's answering things it's not supposed to. Imagine you have a model whose sole purpose is to answer customer service, and then somebody takes all the spam email from customer service and feeds it to the source. Then now I'm starting to answer even though it is grounded and has constraint on that data source, I've poisoned the well. So garbage in, garbage out. Model theft, like this is still a software stack. I mean, if you're working on something that's really precious to you and it's badly protected, somebody takes it, can actually either modify it or just steal it. That's something you have to think about. It's not because it's an AI workload that is different from anything else.
And that topic on model theft is really, really interesting, even on reverse engineering. Easily, without having code and hacking all the stack, you're having the model, you're asking millions of questions to the model. It's returning you millions of answers. You keep answers and questions, you put them together, you're able to retrain a model to be very close to the initial model. You don't have the initial data, you don't have the knowledge of how the model was built, but you have answers and questions. So you have a portion. So that's really model reverse engineering type of attack that we can see also. Don't to scare you, but
no,
those things happen.
Yeah, and I've mentioned like it's not because it's an AI workload that things works differently. Like backdoors are still a thing. If you're exposing an endpoint, an API, or if you just like have a chatbot, like this endpoint needs to be protected. Again, like this is software. You put a WAF on it, like a web application firewall, that can be AI powered and maybe running on Google. As an example, I don't know why, but that's a possibility. Like this is still a software stack, but again, if your elements are, and just keeping on the backdoor point there's a Reddit thread on like all the chat bots that are answering more than they should. So basically, I'm going to go back to my customer service example. Company X customer service chatbot can answer a question about customer service, but then I start asking, like, I would like a Python code to do blah, 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 and then start answering. It's great customer service, probably, but that's not the goal of this, but somebody's paying for that query. Those are tokens run against an API that's generating a bill. So there's a constraint factor that was not put into account on this one. There's a list of, so it's basically like you're breaking up and then you still have the same Netflix password. So your ex is basically using your account, you're paying for someone else. So same thing. So, but those are, reset the password, change it. Same thing for this, put constraint, put context, make sure that it only answers what it's supposed to do. And make sure you actually monitor so that your model actually answers the only thing it's supposed to answer about. So that's something to take into account. Then we have like adversarial attacks. Yep. So that's basically, it's like an optical illusion for the model. You've mentioned the pattern. The pattern, but just like subtle changes in the input can actually change the behavior of the model, and sometimes in an harmful way. Not so long ago, turtles were identified as rifles, and we all know, playing Mario Kart, that turtles are like frisbees. So they're not rifles. So that was completely inaccurate. But still, I mean, like adversarial attacks are super weird. Making a turtle say, no, that's a rifle. But that's all like the bad things. I'm pretty sure Google has a framework that's going to help protect the protectors.
It seems like we talked to each other before.
Yeah, man. It's just like,
weird.
I don't know why.
Yeah. In fact, because there's a lot of question around that. There's a lot of elements at play here. So Google came up with that framework called SAFE framework for Secure AI framework. Obviously, it's not full recipe. So you don't have technical aspect and really deep dive elements. It's going to give you big lines how to use those steps. I think it's 6 different steps with a lot of sub point into it of element that you should take a look at, have question, have those discussion when you're building your AI. So I don't want to spend too much time on that framework. There's a lot of paperwork. You have a QR code here that's going to bring you to safe.google. That's the URL, safe.google, and you're going to get all the information about it, how to implement it. But when we're looking at the framework and how we're developing AI, here I just created something that we're probably familiar with. It seems like a DevOps pipeline, very, very similar to any DevOps pipeline. When we think about it, AI is exactly the same thing. But now it's AI, everyone are a little bit scared. They said, I cannot apply security on that. I don't know what's going to happen. But technically, it's the same, very, very similar stack. But all those stacks, the same thing that we're having with Dev stack, some problems may happen. I just highlighted a couple of them very quickly. So we talked about the data poisoning already. And one I like also, it's the source tampering and injection of vulnerability inside the library that we're going to use. Here, that will affect the model up to creating the model, publishing the model, and here when people are going to use our model. There's a lot of elements, so rogue actions, rogue prompt, for example, and a lot of problems that we're seeing in AI. The name is different, pattern is a little bit different, but the idea is the same. So prompt injection, SQL injection. Yeah. That's the same idea here. I talked about the model reverse engineering already, but the denial of ML service. That's interesting because yes, you can do a denial of service on top of an ML service. And sometimes it's not even the service, but you are presenting that service in an application. So you need to protect that application. This frame that you're presenting, you need to protect that. It's the same concept. So just use what you know today about dev security and just apply that on AI. You're not going to be fully covered, There's going to be some blind spot, but still, that's going to be a very, very good start. And there's some tricks to solve those elements,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, so I mean, like Gen AI supply chain, if it's Gen AI, like again, like Gen AI is just like, it's a workload on a stack. The fact that it's AI is, okay, well, there is a specific framework with Safe that I can leverage to make sure that I do it properly, but in the entire chain, I'm just gonna move here, kind of turn my back on all those people for like 20 minutes, so I'm just gonna flip over. So yeah, so this entire chain, you're able to protect them with sensitivity protection, network isolation, depending, I've mentioned poisoning the well, so making sure that you don't put unauthorized training model, you make sure that you use a trusted source. This entire flow, you can see it as a relay race. You know, from like puck to prod. If at the end, if at the model hub, like model poisoning happened, or so like the source is not trusted, if it's a relay race and I drop the baton like halfway, the race is done, is over. Like you just lost. Same thing here. So you want to make sure that you don't drop the baton, and you make sure that you're able to go from beginning to end without a problem. To help with that, because I've mentioned, well, Yan mentioned also, like this is the same thing. It's a software stack. So there's the Safe framework for the Safe workload, but then also there's the supply chain level for software artifact, SLSA or salsa.
Salsa.
So you're supposed to dance. Okay.
No, I said no to the rehearsal.
Okay, you said no to the dance. Okay, right. But that framework makes sure that you keep the custody of your artifacts throughout your entire supply chain. So that QR code brings you to SLSA. If you want to, read more about it, actually, like I've mentioned, AI is just a workload. Your flow of protection of your artifacts remains the same. And if you're not doing AI, you're just hear about it, that framework is still super valuable to make sure that throughout your entire pipeline, your artifacts stay safe.
Yeah. Here, great. So we talk about problem in the AI, how AI can create problem, how cool it can be, but also we can use AI in security. And that's really where I'm spending most of my time, how to leverage AI in security to speed up process in many locations. So when we're looking at that, and time check 30, we're good, we're not so bad. There's a lot of places where AI can help us to handle security. So I don't know if there are some security practitioner here, but that portion is really interesting for mainly, for example, threat detection and prevention, making sure that we can gather as much information as possible. On threat detection, it's really interesting to see how AI can enhance information that we're collecting from logs, for example, or other sources. AI can really help us to gather that information and cross-reference other things. For example, a couple technologies at Google that we're having, collecting information, we're doing some cross-reference and AI enhancement with VirusTotal. VirusTotal is a property of Google too, so we're just exchanging the information. So we have a lot of information about that huge database of file and problematic file. On the vulnerability assessment, I think we're having a slide later on, but I will just touch it for because of the time. Recently, I don't know if you've seen it, but Google was the first one claiming that AI and a vulnerability assessment detected for 0 day. So it's really, really interesting that AI have been able to detect and define a 0 day. It wasn't a SQLite, nothing too difficult, but still something that no one catches already. So it's really interesting to see that AI can speed up that portion. Even an incident response. There's an incident, and after you need to plan and organize yourself during a couple hours and start doing the first action, AI can really quickly help us to establish the response. These days, just by receiving incident and problems, we can now generate playbooks, so the automation of the response automatically. So we just say, yeah, generate an answer for that problem, and it will generate a playbook for you. Really interesting because you speed up many things. And it's really closely related to cybersecurity automation. With cybersecurity automation here, we're having a couple tools. One that I really like, Cloud Armor. It's a DDoS and WAF solution. And this one is looking at the baseline of communication, looking at every request that are made to an application. And AI now is making an evaluation of those requests. And when we're seeing a difference in the behavior or a different type of request and change in normal way of using the application. Before, it was just a presentation of, yeah, you should probably apply this kind of rules to protect your application. Now, we can decide to say, no, I'm in full confidence with AI. You can just, yeah, go for it. So at night, over the weekend, Christmas night, somebody's tried to attack your application. Now Cloud Armor can decide to push this kind of new rule set for you to limit the attack on your application. This is how we're mainly protecting the big DDoS attack we're having from different customers. So this is good integration here with automation.
And allows the SecOps team to sleep on December 24th, or well, you're not sleeping on December 24th, but yeah.
Yeah, no, that helps. That helps. And this is the kind of technology that already made the proof. We've seen that in the field. There's documentation about that. And this is the kind of things that anyone can use, just one click and you start using this. So it's not rocket science either. One thing, I'm seeing 3 very good place where AI can help in cybersecurity on summarization, classification, and generation. There's other things for sure that we can do, but those are really one that we can have a big benefit. For example, summarization. There's an attack or attack path that we're seeing. We can summarize how this attack can lead to breach something. Or you're receiving threat intel, 200 pages of threat intel per day. You don't have time to read that. You just want a one-pager. Summarization, if you want to know more, you're going to have the documentation, but at least you can condense the information. Classification, obviously classification of type of malware, type of scripts, classification of documentation, of level of risk of those documentation, and generation. Generation, not to generate cat playing piano, but to generate Yara rules, playbook for answers. I don't know, for those of you already created Yara detectors, but if you already created Yara detector, having AI doing it for you, it's new life. You don't want to generate Yara by yourself. So having this kind of technology, being able to do it, it's really efficient. But now, even these days, I don't need to be very good in security to go deeper and get information. I just go in the console and I type, give me all the classified documents Stacy accessed this week.
Oops.
And sorry, and you're going to get the answer. So English is really the query system in the backend that's going to transform the query for you, made the query, and after you said, yeah, generate an alert for that. This is where that will create the Yara rules for you and push that inside the organization. Before that, to be able to do that full stack, you needed senior analysts. Now these days they're looking to say, yeah, okay, I can hire people just getting out of the school because they will learn. AI will be able to teach them the kind of problems and they will evolve very quickly. So that's really a good sign for people who are getting out of school, but also a good sign for more senior people who need to create paperwork and everything for the C-level. Just create the summary for me. So I like both angles for that one.
That's good. All right. Well, thanks for that, Yan. We're in the last stretch. We're just checking the time also.
Yeah,
but
sure.
what I mix, like we've talked about, like AI and security, AI using AI to protect AI from AI and all that. If we mix it all together inside one platform, and of course it's going to be an awesome one. It's Google Cloud Platform. Fully biased here, but I'm okay with it. No problem. So we're just gonna quickly talk about like the way Google works, and it's just like highlighting a few things. When it comes to security and AI, everything, basically Google is weaving AI inside the fabric of everything they're doing. So there's no tools at any point in time that's actually not impacted by it in a positive way, either for security or just even interaction when it comes to security, to your point with generating URL and all this, like all that nightmare of just say it, generate it. So there are a specific more, not like for SecOps team, which is actually, well, the SecOps space is there. Mm-hmm. There's security command center. Like we're actually we're name dropping here for the ecosystem. So if you're leveraging security command center, which is your CSPM, your cloud security posture management tool, you'll have actually AI baked in. You'll be able to, and then we'll see it in the demo, be able to see attack path simulation and get actually summary on what's going on. So you want to, maybe you'll show this to somebody from the SecOps team, that, yeah, I get it, but then we need to present it one level up. Can we get, in layman's terms, what's going on here? We'll show it also later on. For the SecOps piece, there was backstory, we became Chronicles, now like Google SecOps. That's there, and that's the part where the Yara rule, like your SIM and SOAR, creating Yara, actually querying your stack directly, comes into play. And of course, like you've mentioned, VirusSolo already, so it's there. So there is more than just this within the Google Cloud ecosystem, but we wanted just to zoom in on security just a little bit so we have time to actually do a demo. So
yeah, we talked about that one.
We talked about that one, but if you want the full story about this findings, like AI finding something in security, then yeah, I'm having way too much fun with ideogram to create my images, but anyway. So just scan the QR code, actually, you'll get the full story. I think it's gonna bring you the Forbes article that has the link to the actual blog post from the security team at Google. So, demo time.
Quickly.
Yeah, quickly.
Great. So.
You wanna drive them since you're there, and then we're.
Yeah, I'm gonna drive it and talk about it.
Yeah.
No, talk about it. I'm gonna. drive
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I just wanna see like where. All right. So we're in Security Command Center, right? So Security tab on Google Cloud, top right, top left. It's going to give you, you're able to see findings. Findings are all like what's going on in your system. Exposed buckets, IAM permission that are too permissive. But then when you click on findings, you'll actually have a score, let's say like 320.1. So that's the score of the severity of that findings. If you click on it, it's going to bring you attack path simulation, which is coming from, for CT, an acquisition from Google, which actually gives you, from the public internet to the resource, which road would I take by permission and actually hijack a resource. This could be maybe like a GKE node. You're running a Kubernetes cluster and I'm able to just go down at that level. If I'm able to go inside your cluster, I'm able to start having fun with your workloads. So you may actually do like a little cube cuddle and then say, well, where's my stuff? But that's exactly the mini-map of what attack path simulation is bringing. The beauty of this is that, yeah, I can expand the node and have everything, but if I want to talk about this, and I mentioned that in layman's terms, if I click AI summary, then I get the summary on the left side. So I'm able to present this as like, this is exactly what's going on. So it's giving me insights on information that maybe for some people say, yep, okay, I get it, but maybe my manager won't. But I want to bring it in a way that makes sense. The AI-generated summary helps a lot.
Or even if you're not a security expert and you want to understand what's going on, what you create in the environment, that's going to give you also the information. So you don't need to be an expert to start getting the knowledge.
Exactly.
So it's really, really interesting for that.
Ooh, so that's a nice little one. You want to do the side panel? Yeah, you have to pick a project.
I need to change for a project. I will change for my other one.
Yeah, I thought you had like tabs or, yeah, you do. No, not that one. Wait, this one.
A little bit bigger, probably?
Yeah.
Here. Cool.
All right, so the goal, hopefully you'll be able to, so the goal is that I have a lot of findings in Security Command Center. So that's nice, but maybe so like I would like be able to store them all in my data warehouse and leverage it for like security audits and all that. So, but there's a command to do that. It's like, how do I actually export those findings from Security Command Center Premium to BigQuery, which is going to be my data warehouse for security. So I can use Gemini baked in as a side panel, paste my question, get the exact query. So yeah, just like run gcloud SCCBQ export. So for your security help, like what's the exact command I need to do manually? It's going to give you the input. And the answer. You just have to fill in the blank, of course, just like put your org ID and everything, the target, which data sets. So now I have a bunch of findings, and I ran this, and so now my data is sitting nicely in BigQuery. And the next thing would be, well, you know, can I get some sense out of this straight from BigQuery?
Yeah, and why we're bringing that, Pat, is really just to show you that you don't need to be a security expert to get information about it. So now we extract findings and issue detected by a product, sending it, AI giving us the query to create the link. Now we're having the information in BigQuery. But I don't have any clue how BigQuery is working. I need to create a dashboard. I want answers out of it. Now you can use a tool called Canvas. So you just right-click on your data set. It's a query with Canvas. That's going to bring you to that screen. The good things with that, you can pass plain English text to make a query. So here, for example, I will say, give me all fields of the last 100 findings where the status is still active. So I just want to be quite generic. And that will create my BigQuery query that I need to use to generate that. So now I'm able to run that. So that's going to make the query I should have done by myself, but now AI is giving me the information. So nice. I'm having a lot of things, but still it's a little bit difficult to understand. Let's just generate insight. So I will ask the machine just to give me an insight about those things. Will probably be related to security and giving me information about what I should do. Here should appear magically. Yes, okay, great. So here we're having 4 points detected on those 100 findings that are telling me that, for example, here 100 findings are coming from 6 different sources. So I know it's not everywhere in my project. It's really targeted. I have 2 critical, 1 unexpected compute engine region. So it's not supposed to be in that region because I have other rules. So BigQuery, just by at the moment clicking 3 times, giving me insight about my security posture and decide to take action out of it. So that's probably your security team will love seeing you that coming with information that they can leverage and act on. So that's going to be, we want to remove that link between the security group and the developers, like we did with the SecOps, making sure that security is part of the group now. Let's go back here. That one, slideshow.
All right, well, we're at conclusion time, so.
Yes. Great. So we can see that the future is, yeah, it's the right one. Okay, perfect.
Sorry.
So we can see that the future will be very exciting, but at the same time, we need to take security, to have security in mind when we're applying the AI portion.
Yeah, and as we adopt or build solution, meaning like you can buy something, I would say like off the shelf for an AI solution and say, well, okay, cool, I'm going to use this. And technically, well, you know, I'm just buying it. You have to keep in mind, be mindful of all the potential risk of if you're building or buying, like what's coming up with it. If you're buying a solution, you still need to integrate and bring your sources. How is that protected from, you know, you protect your source from the destination. But it's something that you need to think about and be proactive about in your approach to any AI workloads when it comes to security. You need to be proactive, that's the key word.
Yeah, and still use what you know about DevOps, reapply that, make sure that you have a robust architecture in place, that you have your model are resilient, that we've seen with Salsa and the SAFE framework. So use those frameworks really to organize that and make sure that you have reflection about ethical when you develop AI, making sure that there's no bias, that that your model will be used for good. So that's really things that you need absolutely to take in mind. Just don't go wild. Take time just to have a reflection before creating that.
Yeah, and as I've mentioned, like if you're acquiring or developing, and if you're developing a solution, keep in mind, like really invest in research and development. I don't want to say like build an R&D team, but make sure that the team working on those models are kept up to date of what's going on. You know, weekly meetings or whatever, and also foster collaboration. As we build AI solution, it's bigger. It's not about us. So it's like Tony Stark said that. Yeah. So sorry, my mind's going somewhere else. But yeah, foster collaboration. I mean, government, corporation, communities, all working together to make sure that we are keeping to an ethical way of leveraging AI, and make sure that let's say like the future is safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So great. So we're going to be around for questions because time is. I think we're even
just a little bit over. So.
Yep.
Yeah, so we want to thank everybody for assisting to our chat.
And
one QR code.
Yeah, there's another QR code. If
nice
you want to replay
here.
exactly what not exactly because it's not us, but we just generate podcasts from those slides. So you can just scan this, and there's going to be a podcast about the content we talked about. We use Notebook LM to generate that podcast. So you can just listen to It's not going to be us, but
No, but it's a
the same
good
content.
conversation.
It's the same content.
Exactly. So yeah, and as you start playing with Notebook LM, let me tell you, you get addicted quite quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you want to boost your ego, paste your LinkedIn profile URL.
I tried.
You're awesome.
Wow.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.